Hello everyone. Today we are in for a treat as we come close to a remarkable personality who embodies leadership in true sense. He is not just a respected leader, but a great human being, a passionate sports person, an analytical brain, and so much more. Hey, this is Prashant Jain, proudly representing Informa Markets family in India. Today, I'm glad to introduce you to our esteemed guest, Mr. Yogesh Mudras, Managing Director, Informa Markets in India, for today's Fireside Chat, a shadowboard initiative. So let's go and find Yogesh and build some interesting conversations. Hi Yogesh.
Oh, hi
Good
Prashant.
morning.
How are you?
I'm
Good
doing
to see
good.
you
How
here.
are you? Welcome to the
Absolutely.
Fireside Chat, a shadowboard initiative.
Thank you so much. That's such a
And-
big surprise that you are here.
Let me tell you, I could see you serving up aces as gracefully as you would do it in the boardroom. Trust me. How have you
Thank you.
been?
Absolutely fine. Thank you.
So, Yogesh, you have been quite the advocate to the fitness and sports, right?
Yes,
So, when
absolutely.
was the first time you saw yourself as a, sporty person? So,
I
in
think-
fact, I would rather say that when was it when you got hooked up?
So I think I've been always a sporty person. As far as I remember all my life, I think I started, swimming is something which comes natural to me. I've been a swimmer since the age of 9, and I've been a water polo player, professional water polo player. So that's something which I started doing in probably at the age of 9. But then I think tennis is something which I started pretty late in my life, in early 30s, and I think, but it came very naturally to me. For me, I think because tennis was my passion as a game, to watch it as a sport. So it came very naturally to me.
Great,
So
great.
something so for me, I think this is just a part of my life, and it goes without saying. It's not for fitness or anything. It's just I enjoy doing it. That's something which I,
Actually, that was my
yeah.
next question
Yeah.
to you. That is it for like a deep pleasure, or it's just a escape, a joyous escape rather, I would say, from the busy schedule you have.
I think it's very ingrained in the part of my life. I think it's been always there for me. It's you call it a joy, you call it a pleasure, you call it whatever. For me, I think it's something I can't live without.
So now, Yogesh, I have an interesting one for you. Just before the digital world took over, it was all about adoring our, celebrities, the posters which we put it on the wall, right? So I want to know whose poster was there on your wall?
Interesting question. I must say, I think I had a pretty normal childhood as anyone would have. I had my own set of fans, be it in sports, be it in music, be it Bollywood, be it even supermodels. So I think I had
Oh, interesting.
everybody adorned my wall at some phase of my life. But one thing which I can definitely remember, I think, which stayed longest on my wall was the sports person. I think I'm sure you may remember him, Andre Agassi.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
think I was a super fan. You may see it that way. The one with this blonde hair locks.
So
I think,
Wimbledon is all about,
Absolutely.
Andre.
And
right?
I think he was the one who, the one sportsman who won Grand Slam, 4 Grand Slams in 1 year.
Yeah.
So career slam is what they say. So he's the one who was first one to complete that.
Mhm.
But the reason why I had him on my wall particularly was very inspiring, because for me, he was a sports person who reached the pinnacle of success at a very young age. At around age of 20, 21, he was #1 seeded tennis
Absolutely.
player in the world, if you
Absolutely.
remember. And then I think his entire life went downhill. He went into drugs, partying and whatnot, and he lost his focus in his career, and he came down. His tennis skills went off, and he went down to as low as around 650 in the global
Yes.
world
yes,
rankings.
Yes.
And then after that, he revived. The way he revived his career, he came back in a few years. He came in a bald avatar. He removed his golden hair locks and came in the bald avatar and reached again the top billing in the world, and again won a career slam. So I think these are the stories which really inspire me, that you will face hardships in life, you will face challenges, and everyone will have that. You reach a success.
Absolutely.
But how you come back is something which
So
is.
that is what we call bouncing back.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. There are
And
learnings in life.
And in our corporate world, and that is something, because every time the graph cannot same, right? It is always up and down.
Yeah,
So we
yeah,
need to
yeah,
learn from such personalities.
yeah.
Good to
I would
know
say, I
about
think,
it.
look at positives in every person. There are negatives in everybody. But if you look at positives, there's something to learn from each one of us. So I think that is something which I would
Bang
say,
on.
which is something which I've always loved
Bang
looking
on.
at.
Great.
But having talked about this, you asked me about somebody I adorned on my walls. What about you? I think you definitely are a stud yourself. So who adorned your walls? I'd love to know.
So Yogesh, if I go back to my college days, so I remember one personality, Natalie Imbruglia, right? Natalie Imbruglia, so a
Okay.
very famous, a singer, and I still can, visualize my bedroom, when I used to have that big poster. So she was the one I used to adore at that time.
Wow. So do you have singing as a passion? Which is a hidden asset which we don't know till now in Informa?
Not at all, Yogesh, not at all. So now a serious one to you, Yogesh.
Yeah.
You have had an amazing journey so far. Like, I would rather call it a momentous journey, right? From dreaming of getting into Merchant Navy to the Air Force, and then, doing the CA, law, and then finally getting into the corporate world as a finance head. Tell me more about this journey of yours.
So for me, I think first of all, I think thank you for doing all the homework on my life. I think these are all the mistakes.
That's our work.
These are all the mistakes of my life, which I rather happy to commit to get to this stage where I am. So I was serious about getting into Air Force, and I actually prepared for that. I was into NCC. I actually, in fact, I also attended a 1-month military training program.
Oh,
so
wow.
I was getting to that, but I think because of my eyesight, I couldn't get into Air Force. So that by elimination got ruled out. Then I wanted to get into Merchant Navy because I love traveling. So I thought I could see the world, but for some reasons I couldn't get into that. So there are a lot of other things which I tried. I dabbled at various things, and by elimination I finally found studies is the only thing where I can probably get somewhere. And it happened that I started doing CA pretty early in life. I became a CA because it started pretty early with my college. So at 21, I was a CA. And then law also happened by luck, I would say, because there were friends who were pursuing law. So I could enjoy extended college life. So that was something which I was looking at. So I was not actually going to study law, but to enjoy college life more. So I think something that's how I got. So it's happened by luck, I would say. But said that, I think I've tried different things. I started my career with a government company, 6 years with Shipping Corporation of India, which was a great learning platform where you understand the processes, to now the corporate world, moving from shipping to travel to now Informa. I think it's been 14 years. I think I've always, I would say from my perspective, I've tried a lot of things. So I would always urge anybody who really wants to take risks with life, don't be afraid of failure. I think failures actually teach you more than success. So I think I keep trying that. That's what you see in office.
Absolutely.
I think with the amount of shows that we launch,
Absolutely.
and we have failed at shows, but it doesn't stop me from trying new shows, because I think we have succeeded also. The more you try, the more you succeed. I think that's something which I've done myself. So
I think the key words I can think of here is investing and reinvesting.
absolutely.
Does this is your mantra?
I would say invest in yourself, invest in learning, invest in trying new things, and rule out by elimination. So rule out what you can't do by elimination, and then you reach out to the right.
That's a good one.
Which will work for you.
So give me one mantra. In fact, rather than to the audience here, Yogesh, one saving mantra which, as a finance person, you would like to mention today. That okay, this is something looking at the dynamic world we have today. What do you suggest?
For me, I think investments per se, I think this new generation which I see is more into assets, and especially acquiring a lot of assets which like a mobile phone, iPhones, and a lot of different things. I think they're good to have, they're good to show, and I think I've always believed in don't invest in depreciating assets. So I've always invested in appreciating assets which give me money back.
That's a real finance person,
absolutely. So I've always done that, and also try saving some part of your salary. And if you put something, I think equities are something. If you don't know equities, put in mutual funds. But I think something which you will actually gain in the longer run. For me, it appreciates. It gives you, and stay invested for the longer run. Don't look at it as a short term. I want to sell it and make money and get out of it. So I think stay invested in the long run, I would say. So that's something which I've always believed in, and I pursued it since my school days. I've been investing since my school and college days. That's
great. So you're more as an investor then. So Yogesh, another important aspect I have in my mind right now is related to the Indian economy and the exhibition industry. I think, in last 10 years, it has been a golden era for us when it comes to exhibition industry. How do you see this, and what is your learning when it comes to exhibition contributing to the economy of our country? What's your learning and what's your take on this?
So I think we're talking of Indian economy and exhibitions. Exhibitions are doing pretty.
Hi, good morning, Yogesh.
Oh, hi Prashant.
How are you?
Good to see you again.
Same here, Yogesh.
All good. Please, sir.
It is good to be back to Mumbai office for a different form of work today.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good to have you here.
Thank you so much. So, Yogesh, I think we were talking about Indian economy, exhibitions contribution to the Indian economy. How do you see this in the coming years?
I think lots had changed. I think I would say looking at exhibitions, when I look at the last few years, how it's transitioned, I think the best part is, I think, new venues. I think there's so many new venues which have come up, which were not a case a few years back. Be it the newly revamped Pragati Maidan, the Dwarka venue. So it's good signs for our exhibition industry. I think the world is looking at us. You have big scale exhibitions now happening. So that's something which is a positive sign. Our shows can get larger. But of course, I must say, I think it's the ROI expectations have increased. The exhibitors are very focused on what ROI they're deriving out of the exhibitions, because in the interim period, in the pandemic, in fact, most of them got digital, and they could measure the ROI. So now they are expecting similar kind of expectations from us.
I must say that you got an amazing knack to the exhibition industry, being a finance person and then becoming the managing director of Informa Markets. So your tenure, as a managing director to the Informa Markets in India has been significant, Yogesh. How do you see this tenure? If you go back to last 10 years, your contribution towards the organization growth has been impressive. What's the learning, and what's your long-term and short-term strategies you keep in mind as an organization, Informa Markets?
So I think I must say, I think we are in a great country, India, which is growing. So I think that gets half my job done. I think there is so much growth across various verticals, and only thing what we have done in last few years is added more verticals. Really added new shows, new verticals, which can give us, or bigger shows have gone big, have become even bigger, or medium-sized shows have scaled up. So how many shows are we say 1 million pounds and above. We started with about 3 shows about 5 years back, 6 years back. Now we have about 8 shows in 1 million pounds and above category, and they are growing. So in the next few years, we are targeting a huge, phenomenal growth, I think. So that's something which is helping us. I think the verticals, that there's inherent demand in India itself. So I think that is most of the growth which comes is from our domestic sector. Luckily, as Informa, we have some really strong brands globally, so which we can bring them to India, launch them here, because there's a loyal audience that comes. So that's something which we are seeing how our business is growing. Come, Prashant, let's have a cup of coffee.
Oh, sure, Yogesh.
Come.
So, Yogesh, with great success comes great responsibilities. So, do you ever find yourself lonely at the top? A little different question, Yogesh.
I understand. I think, first of all, the work doesn't give me time to feel whether I'm lonely, because the amount of shows, events that we do, a business is about people. So I think I'm always with people, teams, and I think that's something which is exciting. In terms of loneliness, I've never thought of that really, but then I do enjoy my own me time. So and when it's my own time, actually, I have, of course, family comes first. So on weekends, I normally, if you see, I've never disturbed my team, my colleagues. I prefer my time. So weekends, I don't like disturbing people. So I enjoy my time with my family. As you know, I have a lot of other hobbies which I do, so which keeps me busy. I have my own close friend circle who seen me grow up together. So they don't behave with me differently. So it's just fun catching with them. So I have a lot of different things and passions which keep me busy. But in terms of, I think, our colleagues, I think having worked with our colleagues so much for so long now, it's been 14 years for me with this company. I think more or less we are a close family. So I haven't put a thought to it. what happens if I'm lonely at the top. But I think I've enjoyed my time all the time. I think it's never had that time to think
To
about
me,
it.
this is a perfect life balancing
Yep.
act. So amazing.
Thank you.
So, Yogesh, while you make this coffee, I want to seek a permission from you and take the liberty to pass one verdict. You're truly liked as a leader on the floor, right? And I think, you connect with the managing, the senior management and till the interns, how do you manage this role of diverse, culture within the organization?
I think it's all about people. As I say, I think for me, it's working with people. It's be it any role, be it senior management. I think it's when you start working with them, you start understanding what are their challenges. While there's a company level goal that we are all working on, but each one has their own challenges. So once you start understanding them, what they are, what they're facing, I think it really helps you in guiding them in a way what can be done, what cannot be done, and probably finding a middle path. I think something which is there, and each one has their own goals. So I think you just have to support their goals, their thing, while you have a broader vision of the company. So in case of difficult conversations, what happens is I think there are some decisions which have to be taken. These are business related decisions, and when you have to talk with the team, you have to take them in confidence. For me, I'm fortunate that we have a very experienced senior management team, shadow board. You all have put in so many years together. I think you understand, right? If there's a business purpose, if you go back to the roots, why you have to take that decision, explain to them. Like in COVID, we had to take some tough decisions, and at that point of time, I think everybody understands it's a larger picture. What is larger picture? If you take an immediate tough decision, but what is the bigger goal? Why are you getting there? It would mean it's a bigger achievement for the company if we have to take this kind of thing. So I think all in all, I haven't faced any challenges. People have been pretty understanding, and if you share the real story, you connect with them in the person. I think it does help. So that's something which I've always tried to. Sometimes I've failed, sometimes I've learned, but I think you learn.
You mentioned about the lockdown, Yogesh,
Yeah.
right? How do you see this transition, post COVID and, pre-COVID? So any change you see in your thought process and be it the strategies for the Informa markets in India?
I think, as I said, I think in terms of business purpose, I said it's lots has changed in terms of how the business is growing at the moment, and I think what we see is business has come back very strongly for us. I think, and it's this actually a big V-shaped curve that we are seeing. I think, and India is on the growth map right now. So for us, the world is looking at India. There are cycles in every business, and we have to learn to live with that cycles. That's most important thing. So we will also have our own cycle. We'll have to wait and watch. I hope we remain on this growth curve, or at least at that peak for a relatively larger amount of time. That would mean that gives us that many more years to grow faster. But there is a time when there will be a downward trend when we will have to course correct.
So, Yogesh, you have been an intrinsic part of the exhibitions industry. So, what is it first which you have liked about this sector and which is still continuing?
If you really ask me, if I actually came into the sector without knowledge of this real sector, because I've worked in shipping industry for about 9 years, then in travel and tourism for about 4.5 years, and I came in over here as okay. I was told that it's one of the leading companies in the sector, and I joined in as a CFO. I was never hoping to get into the business kind of role. But I think what excites and has stayed me, and this is the longest I've worked for any company over 14 years now. Because I think the sector is so vibrant. I think being in the sector, you're connected with so many different industries. In the one sector, we do shows in 16 verticals. So imagine different sector. I meet a jeweler on the one day, I meet a pharmacist on the other day. You could meet a nuclear and scientist on the third day, and amount of range of people and the diverse knowledge that they are you hear, and the passion with which each one of them comes talks about their industries. I think there's so much to learn, so much to do.
So I think it will be right to say that the industry is actually making us, jack of all trade, but masters of none.
I would say I would count myself master of one at least, maybe finance, which was my core competence. But then actually, of course, yeah, we are jack of all trades now.
So, Yogesh, just continuing to our last conversation, tell us more about your learning when it comes to the country, right, and your hopes around it.
That's something which, when we talk about our country, I think I believe India is at an inflection point. We are looking at a change in government now, but I think with all likelihood, it looks like the same government would be back. I think that's good for the country in a way in terms of policies. That there is a policy continuity, and this government has managed to stabilize in terms of subsidies and everything. I think that the push has been in terms of infra. Capital investment rather than giving free subsidies. So I think that's something which is a good thing. For me, I think we are truly at going to see a decade of growth, minimum a decade of growth for India.
Amazing insights, Yogesh. One last question to conclude.
Sure.
We are into the elections.
Yes.
The country is, looking at forming, the new government, right? How do you see the new government coming up, and any expectations around that freshness, which will come with the new government for the exhibitions industry?
Definitely, I think exhibitions industry has garnered a lot of attention, especially in pandemic. If you see, for the first time after a lot of work, B2B exhibitions has been identified as a sector. And we got a lot of leeways. We were the first ones to be given those leeways to organize exhibitions. And which better than this current government? I think this current government does understand the power of exhibitions. They have invested into venues. They have created 2 nice new venues in the capital.
Great. Thank you so much,
Thank
Yogesh,
you
for the positive energy and your insights.
Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, this is Kuhinika Roy Chaudhary and I welcome you all again to the most interesting part of the Fireside Chat, where we delve into the deep-rooted secrets of none other than Mr. Yogesh Mudras. So ladies and gentlemen, I request you all to please fasten your seatbelts as we are going to embark on an interesting roller coaster ride. And let me promise you that we are going to have plenty of surprises throughout this journey. So without any further ado, let me please welcome Mr. Yogesh Mudras to the Fireside Chat, a shadowboard initiative. Welcome, Mr. Mudras.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Lovely. So I think we are all set to embark on the rapid fire round. So Yogesh, the first question that we have for you is...
I say I'm not. You said secret, so I'm actually a bit worried now. What are you going to
Oh
say
my
about me?
God.
Wow.
So just let's just cut the surprise and let me ask you, what did you do, Yogesh, with the first paycheck that you had in your life?
Wow. It was such a long time back. I think, of course, rather than spending money, I think the first thing I did, I remember I took it to the temple at home. I kept it in front of, that was something which I had done. And then I splurged it out. I splurged it on with friends and my family. I think that's something which I did after doing that.
Lovely. I think that's where we get our motivation from.
Absolutely.
So, Yogesh, what sort of person you are? Are you a night owl person or a morning early bird person?
Morning, anytime morning. I'm a 6 a.m. all days a week.
So, Yogesh, what is your favorite destination in the entire world, in amongst the places you've traveled so far?
If I look at within India, I would love to go back again. I've been a few times to Kashmir in winters. I think that's something which is my favorite. And internationally, if you ask me, France has a lot to offer. So I think I've been there quite a few times. I keep going back there. I like France as a destination.
Lovely. So, Yogesh, with your tight schedule, I'm sure you don't get much time to go through entertainment doors. So, what is your favorite motivational song that you listen and come to office probably?
At different stages when I used to listen. I think there's a song which I used to listen in my early days of my career, Laksh. There was a song from Laksh which was very motivating for me when I went through some difficult times in my workplace. But now when I look back with maturity, there's a song from Devanand, I think, very old song which is मैं जिंदगी का साथ निभाता चला गया और फिक्र को धुएं में उड़ाता चला. I think that's something which I feel, I think that is what I've done with my life.
Should we request Yogesh to please chant some tunes of his favorite song?
No.
What do you say?
My God.
2 lines, please,
If
Yogesh.
everybody can sing with me, I don't want to be a spoil sport. If everybody
Lovely.
is starting with you.
Oh
yeah?
my God, I don't know the song. I think we have millennials over here. So can we all together just chant 2 tunes like of the song itself?
No.
Yogesh, please take the lead.
मैं जिंदगी का साथ निभाता चला गया, हर फिक्र को धुएं में उड़ाता चला गया, मैं जिंदगी का साथ निभाता चला गया, हर फिक्र को धुएं में विदाउट स्मोकिंग उड़ाता चला गया. Thank you.
Okay, so Yogesh, when you enter the office, I think most of your colleagues, they notice that you are so calm-headed every time. You're motivated when you come to office. So, what is the factor that keeps you motivated and calm-headed every day when you come to office?
I look at life in 2 ways. I think something which I can do about it and something which I can't do about it, anything about it. So if I can do about it, I should do. If there's something which I can't do anything about it, I stop worrying about it, because the things are not in my control. So why should I worry about it? So that probably gives me that kind of balance.
Lovely. I think with that, we have to get the mantra when we come to office every day. I think Yogesh just spoke about a very good motivation when we should come to office with that mantra. So, but before we move to our next set of questions, let me take this opportunity to drop that surprise that we have been talking about in the interaction. So, Yogesh, any guesses what the surprise is all about? It's a thing, it's a person. What can be the surprise?
Are you making me play my guitar or something like that?
Oh my God, that's a not bad idea. We can do that. No, but we have a person joining us as a special guest for this conversation, and that person happens to be the first lady of Informa Markets India. I think it's pretty clear to all of you people. The person is none other than Mrs. Shivani Mudras. So let's please welcome Mrs. Shivani Mudras to please join us for the conversation here. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining the conversation with us today at the Fireside Chat. Welcome, Mrs. Mudras. Can we please ask you to have your seats? Thank you so much. Before we step into the next set of questions, Yogesh, the question is to you. How do you feel this surprise? Did you have any idea that ma'am is joining us for this conversation today?
Not at all. In fact, today is, I think, the first time after a long time I called her in the afternoon. I had gap between the calls, and I just called her and she said, how come you are calling me? Every time I call you, you're not there. And she didn't even tell me that she's coming here. So there's zero end. And this is definitely a huge surprise. And you're going to get a lot of secrets, which I would have covered up.
Then we can say our mission is successful. We could surprise Yogesh absolutely, completely fine. So, before moving forward to the rapid fire questions, Mrs. Mudras, what is the mantra that you want to share to our lovely audience that kept you motivated towards your marriage life? I mean, a little birdie told us that you both pretty much said yes when you met for the first time. So, what was the story all about?
Yeah, we met at my aunt's place, and it was my family, his family. After the initial greetings and all, and getting to know about each other's family, Yogesh and myself, we got an opportunity to talk to each other, where we discussed our interests, likes, dislikes. He seemed quite a family man. He had a long list of questions for me that you have to ask him. Yeah, that's all about it.
So, Yogesh, any idea that we can get? What sort of questions? One question, if we can know. I told you, it's going to be the deep-rooted secrets that we are going to extract.
So, actually, I had prepared a list of questions of what to ask, what not to ask, because that's something which was for my ideal wife should be. And I prepared some. I remember that shit must be still lying somewhere in my hidden drawer.
Yes, I was looking for it. I couldn't find it.
Marriage is not just about that moment of few years. It's a life. It's a bonding of families. So all those things which were very important for me to make a decision. And rightly, I think you're the first. हमारे time पे that arrangement कांदे पोहे खा ले. So that was the first कांदे पोहे I had, and that's where it happened. So then at 30 minutes, you're taking your life biggest decision. So
Lovely. And as we say, कि दिल का रास्ता पेट से होके गुजरता है, I think they are the perfect example for that. And I'm sure the audience has now some really great marriage goals, wedding goals from them. So moving forward to the rapid fire session, Mrs. Mudras, what are the three unknown, unseen facts about Yogesh that you are going to reveal to our audience today?
Okay, he's very particular about his exercise regime. He has an Excel sheet of his swimming, his tick mark his swimming, tennis, walk he has done in a year. And he's doing this quite regularly, like 20 years or so. Another one is he loves junk food, the chaats, samosas and all. The third thing is that he never ever enters the kitchen, not even to prepare tea. If he is alone, he will prefer not having one.
Lovely. Now that's something very interesting we did not know about Yogesh. So moving ahead, what are some of the most interesting qualities you like about Yogesh, and maybe also the annoying ones that you want to speak about?
Okay, he is very calm. He is a very calm person in any situation. He is a strong pillar of our relationship. Yeah, I get hyper sometimes, but he's there to support always. That is a great quality of his. Annoying to say, there are not much. Just his phone is always on silent mode, and so it's very difficult to get through him.
Lovely. So, but the next question is for both of you. What are the three top things that are on the bucket list in the coming year that you want to do together?
Go on a cruise together.
Wow.
we are doing that.
Yeah, we
Next
are doing that. Yeah. And a trip to Leh Ladakh. And the third one is our fitness goals, to come to a near ideal weight.
So we have a tracking mechanism where we have been tracking our weights on a weekly basis. So she is my motivation, I am her motivation, and we've been tracking our week. Every Sunday morning we get up, brush our teeth, and go to the weighing scale and weigh ourselves. And we have what we target against last week. What we have done, we always set a one kilo less target for next week, but we end up adding. Then we inspire each other to come down.
So that is the secret behind the fit couple, as we know. So now I would love to give a Brahmastra to Mrs. Mudras. That one privilege of sharing a message to Yogesh in public that you don't share very often in personal. I mean, something that you want to say.
Okay. Rain or sunshine, my day is always special with you in it.
Wow,
Thank you.
what a beautiful line. That deserves a clap for
Thank you.
sure.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you so much.
All right. So, Yogesh, the next question is for you. You have been given many opportunities to go elsewhere and work. So, what kept you rooted in your country, in India? What kept you motivated to work here and nowhere else? What is your mantra behind it?
I can give one official reason and one hidden reason of myself. I think one official reason definitely is I think there's so much opportunities. I've got offers to work across the world. I've taken offers in hand, but I didn't go. But I think it worked all well for me. India is a land of opportunities. There's growth here, and I keep getting new opportunities to work. And I love traveling as a part of my job, and I got jobs where I got to travel a lot. So I think I never wanted to settle down in one country. I always wanted to have my base in India and keep traveling overseas and coming back to my roots in India. So that's something which is the real reason. But the another unofficial reason which I have, I think I love Indian food. I need my Indian food. And that's something which my wife Shibani also knows it very much. Even I still travel. I've traveled hundreds of trips, but I carry my tepla, khakra, everything which I have Indian, so that if I don't get Indian food, in my room I silently, quietly eat that. So I always have it in my bag.
Absolutely and completely agreed. So with that, we come to the end of this Fireside Chat, our Shadowboard initiative. So thank you so much, ma'am and sir, for joining this Fireside Chat, our Shadowboard initiative. We really look forward to having you again and listen some more deep-rooted secrets of your life. Thank you so much. So this is Kuhilika Roy Chaudhary.
I'm Prashant Jain signing off today from the Fireside Chat episode, and we will shortly be back with another episode of Fireside Chat, a Shadowboard initiative. Thank you, everyone.